Greeting and welcome to the Intensive Success Growth. Please give warm welcome to our guest, Chris Chapman. He is a executive director and founder and CEO of Next Level Mind. He wants to inspire minimum 1 million people. So welcome, Chris.
Yeah, no, hey, this is a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the show and everything. I appreciate it.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you? Inspired you that you start today?
Yeah, so I always have loved business and sales because when I was 12 years old, I'd go door to door asking people if I could do work around their house, trying to get some extra money. So I always loved that, trying to close the deal, right? Trying to pitch myself. And then ultimately this person saying yes, I kind of became like addicted to that entrepreneurial sales mentality. And second, on the whole next level minds, kind of coaching arena, like I've always loved impacting others. I was that guy in high school, always trying to give advice when people needed it. And so I've always had sales, business, and helping others passion at such an early age. But I'd say the first time like I came in love with business was going door to door at 12 years old. That taught me a lot, of course.
Okay. So what you were selling in the age of 12 years?
Yeah, so I was going door to door asking if I could cut people's grass for money. I was anything and everything. I was saying, hey, can I clean your windows for some money? Can I help you hang up your Christmas lights? Like it was just everything that I could think of to get some extra money at an early age.
Okay. What are the top 3 reasons why do people fail?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think the three main reasons on that, I think, is lack of planning. Number one, I think people just jump into things without actually, writing out a solid plan. And then ultimately it becomes extremely overwhelming. I think the second reason is lack of knowledge. Again, I think people just jump into things that seem like the next coolest thing to do without actually taking the time to fully learn and become a master of your craft. And I think the third reason that people fail is honestly a lack of desire, because I think a failure is only a failure if you quit. But if you have an extremely strong desire, then that desire is going to carry you forward, even when times get tough on that thing you're trying to build, or that dream you're trying to, or that goal you're trying to acquire as well.
Okay, great. So what is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Yeah. So when I was 17, I was in high school. I had a 0% chance to get into any 4-year university because I didn't care about school at all. I was hanging around the wrong group of people. School was on the back burner. And so that was the biggest failure at that time, because college was something I did want to do, and to have literally not even a 5% chance, but a 0% chance to get into any 4-year school. And what I learned during that process is that when you have a goal in mind, you need to constantly make sure that your behavior follows that goal. So if my goal was to get to college, I was not studying, I was not going to class, I was not trying to learn. And so what I realized was, if I want to achieve this goal, I have to have the behavior to align with that goal. So eventually I did end up going to a 4-year university, graduating with honors and all that. So, to come from 0% chance to that. But I'd say that's the biggest lesson is, whatever your goal is, make sure that you're constantly asking yourself, does my current habits and my current behavior align with that goal?
Okay. What motivates you within?
Yeah, for me, it's leaving a legacy and making a long lasting impact. I personally want to create generational wealth, and I personally want to have a legacy to my name. When I ultimately am dead and gone later in life, I want people to recognize, hey, like I made an impact on the world and others around me.
Okay. Okay. What is your company motto?
Yeah, it's to help others reach a next level in their business, personal, or career life.
Okay. Who is your ideal client?
So for the 8 to 5 role that I do, I run a business publication, and our revenue model is through advertisements. So my ideal client on that is CEO type level, because we meet with a lot of different CEOs. So it's CEO, and it could be in any type of sector. And then ideal client for what I do with the podcast and the coaching side of things would be more of that young professional individual who maybe has just graduated college, who's trying to figure out their career. And my role is to come in and kind of help them master that transition.
Okay. How do you find your ideal client?
So for the main 8 to 5 role, I do read a lot of business journals, read a lot of things that are happening on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn really helps with that. And then I'd say for the coaching side, I'm helping more younger professionals. So that's where social media really comes into place. Facebook, Instagram. I do a lot of stuff on that platform. So LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and then really just spending a lot of time reading different business journals and outlets as well.
How do you deliver 5-star client experience?
So for me, it's two things. One is really spending a lot of time building rapport with that individual, really spend a lot of time trying to build that relationship, because I think a lot of business nowadays is just transactional and then the client is forgotten about. So for me, I really try to spend a lot of time getting to know them. And then two, I really spend a lot of time following up. So after the deal is closed, I'm reaching out a couple of weeks later. Hey, how did you like your experience? I'm open to any suggestions. And I'm also following up with them months down the road, even if I don't need anything from them. If they were like, I have a kid in school, or I play soccer on the weekends, I would ask them in a couple months, hey, have you played soccer recently? How's your kid doing? Just constantly following up with them. And I think my approach is I just try to differentiate myself by building the strongest relationship possible.
Wow, great. So how do you handle rejections?
One, I like to laugh it off because it's just part of the game. And so I laugh it off. And then the next thing that I do is I realize, all right, what did I do wrong in this situation? How can I improve this situation? And what are the things that I can control? So I do that first because I'm trying to keep my mindset positive, trying to keep it uplifting. And then the second thing I do is realize that rejections, especially in sales, are primarily just because that person doesn't trust you yet. So what I try to do is get that client or that prospect from point A to point B as quick as possible, while also maintaining the most amount of trust. So again, recognizing that rejection happens, laughing it off, focusing on what I can control, and then with the whole sales side, trying the best possible manner to build as much trust as possible.
Okay, great. So how do you convert your client into your brand ambassador?
Well, can you repeat that question again?
How do you convert your client into your brand ambassador?
Yep. For me, I like to cold call them, and then again, really focusing on that relationship, and really that's asking more questions than I'm talking. I'm really asking about their business, asking what problems they have, ask what challenges they have. And before I even pitch myself or my company, I'm really getting to know the ins and out of that business. And then I'm just coming in as more of a consultant type thing, versus just someone who's trying to sell them the next thing. I'm actually saying, well, hey, you mentioned you have this problem, this problem, this problem. Here's solution 1, 2, 3, and here's how that can help you down the road.
Okay. How do you start your day?
Yeah, I'm a big morning routine guy. That's something that I've really taken seriously, especially over the last 2 to 3 years. First thing I do is I get up and immediately go to gratitude. I'm actually say out loud, I'm thankful for another day. And then the next thing I do is drink a massive glass of water, because think about it. If you're asleep for 7 hours, your body's not getting any water for 7 hours, which is not good. And then I immediately go to the gym, do a good 30-minute workout, constantly moving, very little breaks, get the blood flowing, come back, spend some time journaling where I write out my goals for the day. I write out what my intentions are for the day. I say a quick prayer, and then I make a good breakfast, and then I'm starting the day by 7:30. And I've already gone to the gym, read, journaled, worked out, and spent a little time in prayer before I even open up my work computer at 7:30.
Okay, great. So what are you grateful for today?
Yeah, so there's a stat out there that says on the world death clock, it says that 150,000 people in the world die a day. And so for me and you as well, we're alive. We're recording this podcast episode. So I'm just grateful to be alive.
Okay. Who is your living mentor?
My living mentor is actually a bunch of different people. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so a lot of these mentors are, authors, successful speakers. people that have really done what I am doing, but on a much bigger scale. And the reason being is I think that you need to surround yourself with mentors that are what you actually want to do in life. If you don't want to become a speaker, then don't have a speaker as a mentor. But if you want to become a well-known speaker or well-known author, then have an author as a mentor. So those are the type of people I surround myself from a mentorship perspective.
Okay. So what is your favorite book and what did you learn?
Yeah, my favorite book is that's a really good one. So I got a lot of them behind me, as you can see here. But my favorite book is probably Think and Grow Rich. And the reason being is I think it just puts you in that whole wealth mindset. I think a lot of people think that acquiring wealth is just work, 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 which is a large percentage of it. It's a large part of it. But there's a whole other side of shifting your mindset to a wealthy mindset. And that book really got me on track there. And then parallel with that, I know you only mentioned one, but Start With Why by Simon Sinek is definitely my it's neck and neck between the Think and Grow Rich and the Start With Why book as well.
Okay. How young are you?
I am 26 years young.
Okay, you're 26. You are not 26-year young. You are 18-year young, and rest is your all experience. Like you have 80-year experience and 18-year young.
Right. That's true.
So what is your plan to achieve your goal?
Yeah, my plan to achieve is just honestly analyze how I can always get better. For those watching on video, the whiteboard behind me is all my goals for the month. And then I have my 2022 goals right below it on that piece of paper that's hanging down. So I'm constantly reading those at least 20 times a day. When I walk out of the office, when I walk back into the office, I'm reading them and I'm analyzing them and saying, what can I do to achieve those goals today? How can I move that needle forward? So I'm constantly asking myself those questions. And for anyone out there that has big goals, like I would challenge you to always put them in front of you. Because the more you look at them, the more that they're going to go into your subconscious mind, and the more you're going to start to act in alignment with those goals that you have. So for me, I'm always looking at the goals and I'm always asking myself, what's that thing that I can do today to move the needle forward and get closer to those goals?
How would you feel in case you don't achieve your goal?
Yeah. So for me, again, constantly asking myself, like, hey, failure is part of the process. I think success teaches you a lot, but failure teaches you even more because that's where all the learning lessons are experienced. So for me, I'm looking at that and saying, what could I have done better to achieve this goal? Where did I fall short? And again, ask myself, could I have surrounded myself with somebody that could have helped me? Is there anything else that I could have done different with my habits? And the second thing is yes, I do have some goals that I don't reach, but one thing that I really live by is I don't negotiate my goals. If my goal is to go to the gym 7 days a week, I'm making it happen. I don't care how tired I am. I don't care how much I have to do. Like I'm making those goals happen. So, right now I'm on track to achieve all of my 2022 goals, which is about 50. It's about 20 of them actually. And it's because I've adopted this whole new mindset of I'm not going to negotiate my goals. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I achieve them.
Wow. How do you overcome challenges life throws at you?
Yeah, I think for me, just looking at it through the lens of gratitude and being grateful. Again, we're blessed to be alive today. We're alive. We're healthy. We're talking on this podcast. This is awesome. So I think looking at those challenges as through a lens of gratitude. But then I also think thinking about it kind of parallel to gratitude, but thinking about it that it could be much worse. I had 9 meetings today. That was a bit of a challenge. I normally have 4. So I had, twice as much as I normally have. And we had to have this podcast all on the same day. So today was a bit of a challenge, but like looking at that through the lens of gratitude, being like, what, I'm grateful that I spoke with 8 people. I'm grateful that I have the chance to be on this podcast. And that can really help you overcome some challenges and realize that when you have challenges pop up in your life, like it could always be much worse. If you have a flat tire on the way to work, you could have gotten in a wreck. If you, drop a cup of coffee and the cup breaks, like you could have ran out of coffee. Like I don't know. There's just so much that could happen on the other side that could be much worse than what's actually happening to you.
Why is being impactful more important to you?
Yeah, I've always lived by a phrase of impact over income. I think income is a great goal, and it is part of my goal is to make, a certain amount of money this year and all that. But, that can only drive you far in life. And I think that could only keep you motivated for so long, because then when you do hit that income goal, you're going to be like, okay, now what? Like I hit my 2021 income goal in August. And then I had, September, October, November, December last year of like, well, now what? I hit the goal. Like, cool. It wasn't even as nice as I thought it was. And so I think if you have that mindset of impact over income, that's a much more rewarding process at the end of the day when someone texts you, hey, I just listened to your podcast, really enjoyed it, or hey, thanks for spending an hour with me, helping me through this challenge. Like it really, really helps me out. And if you focus on that impact over income mentality, the more people impact, the more people you help solve problems, naturally, the more money you're going to make too. So those two parallel work really well together.
What do you want to for remember for?
Yeah, I want to remember for just impacting others, right? I want to be that go-to guy of, hey, if I ever had a challenge or if I was struggling with something, or Chris Chapman helped me achieve the goals that I had in place. I want to be remembered for that person that was there to make an impact in their lives.
What would you say about your guest experience on this show?
Yeah, no, it was good. I like the two to the point questions. Keeping it thorough. I think people's attention spans are lower and lower right now. So I think I love your format of just, hey, question, answer, rather than I think some people on podcasts talk for an hour just about random stuff that's going on. Like I love your format of question after question after question.
Okay. So it's a final question. What is your final word?
Yeah, my final word is perspective, and I think perspective drives your performance. When when you have a positive perspective in life, that perspective is going to shape your reality, and that positive perspective is going to create positive experiences in your life. But when you have a negative perspective, that's going to translate negatively to your work ethic, to your career, to your business, to your relationships, versus when you have a positive perspective, that perspective is going to shape those things, but in a positive way. And that's something you always should be working on. Positive perspective doesn't just happen with the snap of the finger. It's a daily process of gratitude, of exercise, of reading, of journaling, and that those things help shape that positive perspective.
Okay. Thanks for sharing your wisdom, Chris, with us. On the behalf of our team and our community, we really appreciate you. Until the next time, all good wishes to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.